afternoon and welcome for this release presentation of Dynamicweb 8.7.1. Today it's going to be a relatively short presentation. This is a service release of 8.7, service release 1. It contains a number of bug fixes, as you can see on the release notes on the developer side, but it also contains a bunch of minor features and improvements to Dynamicweb, and I'm going to run you through some of those and also show you a couple of the things in the administration of Dynamicweb. So service release, let's just jump into the presentation. If we start by taking a look at some of the things that we added for e-commerce in this solution. One new thing is the Stripe checkout handler that has been added. Stripe is a new, or for us, new American checkout handler that is allowing for some new and better payment windows that we know from the current installation that we see around with the traditional checkout handler that pops up a window in a new browser. Stripe is JavaScript based and can actually render a form directly on the page where the checkout handle is started from. So it gives a better experience for the user because the payment form is part of the checkout flow more intuitively. The reason for introducing this one is also because it supports recurring payments and saved credit cards. So if you have a solution where you have returning customers that logs into the site, you're able to have them register their cards on their user profile, and instead of getting the payment window every time they buy something on the solution, you can now use a saved credit card on the solution itself. Dynamicweb does not store the credit card information in our system, but it stores it in the external system, in this situation in the Stripe solution. So you can do checkouts that resembles what you see on Amazon and eBay and stuff like that. Besides of Stripe, it's also supported by ChargeLogic and from Dips, and soon also QuickPay when their new platform is fully ready for features like this one. So this is for saving credit cards, it's for recurring orders, and it is also for a better experience in the checkout flow for the payment window itself. You can also use this in Denmark. They are in most of Europe, but they don't support all the same payment methods. But if you're just taking credit cards, this is a great solution. For variants, we've added a new user interface for handling variant groups and options because the current user interface is pretty messy and difficult to understand for editors. So we changed this to be a bit more intuitive and resembles the rest of Dynamicweb. So I'll just show you how it looks like very briefly. So this is my variant group. And before I had something called variant options as a tab on the top, and I had to do some weird user interface to fill out this one. Now I just have a row grid, as you know it from other places in Dynamicweb, and you can add the name and set on some images on each of the variant options that are available here. In the next release, which is 8.8, you would also get the possibility of adding properties on this one. So you could say, this is colors, and I want to add a hex code, so you can render that in the front end. That's going to be part of variant options editing in 8.8. In a small thing regarding the cards, today if you have a user that is not logged into the solution and they add a lot of products to the card itself, and then they choose to log in, before this release, the user would get a new empty card, or they would get the card they had last time they were logged in. With this option, you have the possibility of merging the anonymous card with the card they have when they're logged in. So if they have one product in the card before they log in, and they have a card saved on their user, those two cards will be merged into one card, so you avoid losing products in the checkout flow. So this is a request that we've received from several sources in many B2B solutions, especially. B2C solutions, especially. Recurring orders, which was a new release on 8.7, has received a lot of updates, and I'm just going to show you a bit of the things that has been added on this one, and also just a brief introduction to how it works. So I have my website here, which is my checkout flow. I have a lot of options in this checkout flow because all of it is enabled. If I have a payment method that supports recurring orders, and that's related also to this saving of credit cards, I can fill out the recurring orders bit on the checkout itself. So if I check this checkbox, say I want this order to be repeated every 1 week or every 1 month, and say specify an end date of this recurring order, this means that this order would be created once every month based on the template of this. This one is using invoiced payments, but I could also have used a saved credit card, or if I'm using the Stripe handler to pay with, it would save my credit card information and use that for subsequent payments in here. So when I place this order, it's actually not becoming a real order to begin with. Instead, we get a recurring template in here, where I can see I have a new node called recurring orders. So I would get the templates. I can just place this order. Okay, I should get my recurring orders on the list in here, which are the templates on which the orders are based in subsequent orders. Did I say? I think I forgot to check the recurring orders on this one. So, but in here I would get the order template, and I can see all the future orders that is going to be based on this order template. And as time goes by and the scheduler picks up these orders and they run into the next month and would place a new order, they will show up in the order list up here, and they would have a small icon saying this is an order that comes from a recurring order template. And I can follow my orders from within here. So that's the point of the recurring orders. So some of the changes in 8.7.1 is how we have split the recurring order templates in one folder, and the orders based on the template is part of the regular orders up here. Another thing that is possible in the new version is that you can set a start date. Right here I just have an end date. I can also set a future start date, meaning I want to start the first order in January of 2016 if that's what I want. So I can expose before the first order is placed, which is also a new feature in the recurring orders. In Dynamicweb, the content management part of the system, we've made only a couple of minor changes. Also a request from a lot of users is a new field type when I create items. So if I create a new item type, and I can add a field of type user, where it's possible to select groups and users on that field in the administration. So I have a user selector like this one, as you would know it from other places of the system. In the front end, I'm then able to loop through the groups and the users that are attached to this item in this field and display them in address lists or whatever I want to do. It could also be if I have an event, and I could have a list of who is attending this event. Could be on this field registered as people who signed up for a specific event and so on. Also related to users, on the user or extranet module that you attach to a paragraph where you can recover passwords and so on, it's now possible to select which user fields you want to recover password based on, and now it's easier. It's also possible to combine email address and username to use for recover passwords on users, because it can be difficult to know which one. If you can remember your username, you can remember your email and so on. Also related to items, the item publisher received a possibility of adding a secondary sort option. So if you sort things by, for example, a price, and you have the same price on more than one item, you can set a second sort, so that would be alphabetic. This is especially relevant for lists that is based on a lot of items where you have similar values in some of the fields, and then now you can control what the secondary sort order would be. In the Forms for Editors module, it's now possible to use the rich text editor to control the receipt shown in the template. So instead of having a specific receipt page now, you can fill out this field with the rich text editor. So when the form is submitted, the form is going to be replaced with the text that is applied here in this editor, and makes it a bit more smooth in how you operate it, and you don't have to go and make some changes on a template or create a new page to show confirmations to users on the screen. In the Marketing Center, we've added a couple of one minor feature, which is now the possibility of adding social media publishing or use social media publishing from within the News module. Even though we say use items for news as well, it has been a request to add social media publishing in the News module because it's so popular for some reason, the News module. So now it's possible to use those two together. On the developer side, you can see the entire list of all the features that has been added and also the bugs that was fixed in this release. And the next release is the end of January. And this is going to be called 8.8, and I'm going to return with a new presentation when we're ready with that release. So thank you for attending, and have a nice day.